What's up guys, welcome to Wasted Space and we're back in Space Engineers. And for those of you who watched the Kopesh video last week all the way through to the end to the montage thing that I stuck at the far end of the video, you will have noticed that I was basically using the Rapier and the Broadsword painted different colours in order to try and create like a dogfight scenario basically. Which was all well and good. And if you haven't seen that video, by the way, you can see a little bit of it in the background here, but it's linked up here. I recommend you go and have a look, skip through to the end. I don't know why I put a montage at the end, really stupid place, especially when I'd spent quite a lot of time on it. So, won't be doing that again, but skip through to the end, have a look if you haven't seen it, because it is quite good fun. Anyway, the idea was that that's all kind of boring. What I needed was something for the Rapier and the Broadsword to fight that was clearly comparable to them, clearly sort of based off the same design ethos, but was also clearly different, and wasn't these things. So what I got in front of me here is the Rapier and the Broadsword. Quick reminder, you guys know these things, tiny little agile stuff using Digi's aerodynamic wings mod. Really, really cool. They were fast, they were manoeuvrable, they were well armed, they were not well armoured. That was basically the deal behind them. Just designed for really quick atmospheric combat. So these are these two, and over here are the two new ones. So now, while these might not be the prettiest things in the world, and to be honest, neither were the Rapier and the Broadsword, I do kind of like them in a certain way. I don't know. In particular, the one on the left, the Glaive, is obviously the Rapier's equivalent, and that one in particular, I think, doesn't actually look too bad. Its bigger brother, the Gladius, is a bit less so. But the point of these was much more about making them visually distinct from the first two, while repeating most of what those first two were capable of. And I'm sure you could agree that, especially from the silhouettes, those are from different factions. There's no question about that. So let's now go and have a look at exactly what's going on with these two designs, because they aren't quite the same as their two counterparts. I've attempted to kind of really mimic what the setup was. So for example here, one of the main sort of driving forces behind it was to have very centerline mounted and centerline focused guns, because that enables you to be precise with your fire. The other thing, of course, we were doing was using Digi's wings to great effect to make something really maneuverable, but that was focused on the idea of banking, and you really needed to bank into the turns. The other main difference, I think, with the Glaive versus its counterpart, the Rapier, is that while the Glaive is probably a bit more maneuverable, it doesn't use reactors or anything like that, so it's reliant on batteries, and what that's done is actually make its profile a bit bigger. So you'll notice Glaive there versus the Rapier, the profile of the Glaive is a bit bigger than the Rapier, so it's a little bit easier to hit. But in doing so, it's also slightly more powerful firepower-wise, and slightly more maneuverable, so hopefully a counterbalance. Other than that, there's nothing really much to say about it. It's survival ready, everything's packed in there. And what I would have liked to have done at this point is gone, hey look, here's some cool footage. In this here sort of stream-built city, we got everyone together and started building a city for these things to dogfight around. And then, as you can see, Space Engineers frame rate, it's about 20 FPS without anybody on the server, even on the lowest graphic settings, and this is with no mods. None at all. So, I even tried turning off the aerodynamic wings. So that's a bit of a shame. I would have quite liked to have some cool footage, but instead, we can move on to the Gladius here. And it's also worth mentioning, while there won't be a montage at the end of this video, because that's a really stupid place to put a little cinematic montage that I spent ages on, it will be coming in a separate video. So I'll try and put a bit of action in here, but keep an eye out tomorrow for a video with a full 7 versus 7 Gladius and Glaive test match where they take on the Broadsword and the Rapier in a fairly one-sided fight it turned out, but I won't tell you which one won until we get to that point. So, moving on to the Gladius, which was obviously designed to counteract, or not counteract, but be the counterpart to the Broadsword. So, while it is relatively ugly, I have to say this one, I wanted to follow through with the shape and the theme of the first. So this one, kind of okay. I prefer how it looks from the bottom with the sort of layered black, but I don't know, it also makes it stand out a bit more, so perhaps the layered black's not a good idea. Either way, it's designed again to be that counterpart. So the centerline mounted guns on the Broadsword, and the Broadsword had a fair few Gatlings, you'll notice. We've got 10 on there. We've actually got, if I remember rightly, more on here. Yes, we've got an extra 2 on the slightly larger, slightly heavier Gladius. Again, kind of a counterpoint. These guys are slightly heavier armed, but the ships themselves are slightly larger, and the ships are slightly heavier. Now, in the case of the Gladius, it's actually less maneuverable than the Broadsword as well, so it kind of acts as a nice counterpoint. And then it's still got its rockets, 2 on the top, 2 on the bottom. As with the broadsword, you've got to be careful that you're flying straight when you're launching these, because otherwise they'll clip into your own ship. But it does a good job, and that's the main firepower of both of these fleets. The Gatlings will take things down relatively slowly, but if you hit a rocket onto anything here, they're going to fall apart pretty quick. So that's about the gist of things. I'm going to put both of these up on the workshop. I really recommend you go and give them a try, and if you haven't tried out the Rapier and the Broadsword, give them a try as well. I promise you they are hilariously good fun to fly around. And yeah, if you enjoyed this one, guys, I know it's actually a short one for me, which is unusual, but if you enjoyed this one, then please hit like, please hit subscribe, it does help me in the channel out. And if you didn't like it, you know where that dislike button is, but please also hit me up in the comments, give me some way I can improve, or some ideas for something that you'd actually enjoy. So thanks a lot for watching, guys. Don't forget to check them out in the workshop, and don't forget to pop back tomorrow to check out that cinematic montage, which hopefully, once it's done, will be pretty awesome. Looks a bit like this. But longer, obviously. Thanks for watching, guys. Catch you next time.